look at you, how many notes you took, how many scudetti you have and all that bullshit. Just wipe your ass with that crap.
He's like Mourinho.
Yeah, Mourinho, my ass.
Messa fuori, c'è Pirlo, ancora Pirlo di tacco, tiro,
The referee should never have given the second, the straight red. Roma is missing the wing that they had last year.
Well, Salah. If you don't beat Crotone like this, it's mental.
Wow.
I don't know who he is.
He looks like Nainggolan.
Oh my God. He does not look like Nainggolan.
Okay, guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Serie A audio experience. We got everyone but Marco today. Marco's actually in Italy. He's got some important IFTV meetings, so we're wishing him the best of luck for that, and we obviously know he's gonna kill it. You know, he's gonna always do successful because you know, Juve won another Scudetto. We'll go into that later, so I'm sure he's hyped up about that. Look, Antonio's already looking at me. But before we go into the Serie A, we gotta talk about Milan and Juventus, the Coppa Italia midweek, right?
Sure.
You guys want to talk about that first before we jump in?
What is that to talk about? There's nothing to talk about. For nothing. Forget about it.
What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think the Milan, the first 55 minutes, so they played very well, and then we took a stupid goal, and Donnarumma helped them out too with the 2-0, the 3-0.
They didn't play bad no one played bad. It was a little boring in the first half, but then Juve, I think, turned it another gear.
That Donnarumma under pressure is buckling lately, and today was another perfect example, like that goal that we took at the last 2 minutes, actually on overtime. It could have been Milan. They just not even had to look at it. But Donnarumma, I guess, is under pressure. Is you know, too many things are happening at the same time, and the kid, I think, is still a little green. So we need him to stand a little bit firm between the goal nets, the goal post, whatever.
Yeah.
I think we need to congratulate Juventus for the fourth Coppa Italia in a row and the 7th championship in a row, and Allegri for being 4 out of 4 for the Coppa Italia and 4 out of 4 for the championship.
And 4 out of 4 for the Champions League and not making it to not winning the finals.
So today I think it's a celebration for this club that keeps winning. I mean, they got, I think, a little bit of break because AC Milan and Inter Milan went through a period where they're not the teams that they used to be. I think Moratti left Inter, Berlusconi left AC Milan.
Yeah.
So they, in a way, they found themselves in this
gold mine.
You know, this year's where the two teams that always were fighting for the championship have been out of the championship. And I think that Juventus that started with Conte when they got Pirlo, Vucinic, Giaccherini, and from there they never looked back, and you know, they kept going. And with some players that they were there for 7 years, for 7 championship, Buffon, Chiellini, Barzagli, Marchisio, and Liechtenstein. So congratulations to Juventus. I think that Napoli and Roma, even though they're very good teams, they were not at the level of Juventus.
No, I think you said it good. I mean, you got to give credit. It's up to that point that Juve won so much. You could say the competition maybe isn't as strong as what it's been in recent years, but look, they're winning all the time. They have pressure. They're competing in all competitions too. They're going full force. You could say that they have a deep bench too, but at the end of the day, it's with the foundation what Juve has been doing this whole project the past year. So they put themselves in a good position to do that. Because a lot of teams, you know, they're not as wealthy. They don't have the options Juve do. Like you can say that about Napoli and stuff. So that's why Napoli, you know, dropped down the other competitions. They were close. They went almost to the second to last, round, which a lot of leagues were over from, before January. So I think congratulations to Juve. There's nothing more to say for me, at least. What do you think,
for
Peter?
Sure. I mean, you have to tip your hat to Juventus.
Exactly.
As an organization. They've for year after year, they're top. Also, it stems from management. It stems from the president. The new stadium. I mean, as far as marketing, they're top. the players that they pick, they don't maybe spend big money besides the Higuain.
They're smart with their buys.
But they're able to get players that fit into the system. And what happens also is that they have a great captain in Buffon and also a great defensive line where you already have, as a player coming in, you can't make any problems.
That's a foundation. That's a big foundation.
Exactly.
The BBC,
So,
it used
exactly.
to be the BBC, now Bonucci. Unfortunately for Juventus, actually, maybe fortunately, it's with AC Milan.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And so the only thing is that we can say is let's hope that Juventus can keep this up. And like Gaetano said, Inter, Milan, these other teams are able to invest, because it's not just about spending money. That's why I think a lot of people get upset about. It's not just spending money. You're investing in the team because you have to compete. And I think as Inter, as Milan, you have a duty not only to the fans of these clubs, but the fans of Serie A. Because at the end of the day, that's what you want to see. You want to see a competitive league where you don't know who's going to win, and any given Sunday something can happen. Unfortunately, like Gaetano said, Juventus hasn't had those top competitors like Milan, Inter. But I mean Roma, Napoli over the past couple of years.
They stepped up. They've
really stepped up into that level, but they don't have the spending level as what Inter and Milan used to have. So as far as team-wise, Juventus had the best team. So if you were a betting man, Juventus was your pick, and Juventus did it. But it also takes a lot, because every game, the big games, they step up, and they put the money where their mouth is. Look at Napoli. The whole Inter game. Inter lost to Juventus, the controversy, blah, 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 blah. Napoli has to win that game in Fiorentina. That's it. Because you
100%.
win that game. This Roma game that ends in a tie, Napoli has the chance to win. So you have to do your part. That's it.
The thing is that Sarri are complaining in the past, and I think he's still complaining about the fact that the Juventus played all the time ahead of before them, and it put a lot of pressure on Napoli.
I was going to ask you a question. I don't know if we want to jump into it right away, but that was actually one of my questions for both of you, because I know in Serie A, in years like a while back, they used to make all these Scudetto games play at the same time. What has changed? Maybe because of TV interest,
TV rights and marketing.
Exactly.
I think there is some advantage to me. It makes a lot of difference, because at the end you're gonna go into the field and just you have the liver over there, you have the win into the field. But knowing what your direct opponent is doing before you makes a huge
I mean, listen, we're all human at the end of the day. So if there's a result, we'll talk about it more when we talk about Napoli. If it's in the head, it's like, we got to catch up. We have to win this game. But then you make a mistake, you get nervous, and the game doesn't. Of course, 100%. It makes a big difference. I think it does. Okay, let's jump in Serie A, because we're already talking about it. Let's start off actually with Saturday. Peter's looking at me weird. It's the Inter Sassuolo game. We have to start off with that one.
Well, I mean,
before you say anything, Peter, I know you're crazy about Spalletti.
Not crazy about him.
But let me just say something. I mean, I thought everybody thought. I mean, this Inter is going to walk all over Sassuolo. But then I saw the press conference of Spalletti after the game. The guy, I've been complaining to the fact that this guy never smiles. He seems to be happy. He was smiling, laughing, just commenting about the game like he almost won the game. But says the team played well, and but besides the point. The team psychologically, they thought that they had the game before it even started. They were the kids with the players and all of this celebration. They were celebrating before the game started, and I think that was a major mistake. Yeah. So they didn't take the game. I mean, hey. They found even Consigli to be on the top of his game. He had the best game of the year. But so did the AC Milan. AC Milan lost against Benevento. Let me remind everybody.
That's true.
And I kept saying from the very beginning, I said, hey, listen, guys, this Serie A here, there is no way that you can downplay
any
Juventus
game.
Playing with Crotone, or Milan playing with Benevento, Fiorentina playing or Inter playing with Sassuolo.
Yeah.
Look what happened. Look what the results. And Lazio almost lost against Crotone. If it wasn't for the last 2-3 minutes.
I feel like Inter and Spalletti had their minds on the Lazio game already, the last game. Even though, Icardi did miss a few shots, right? And like you said, Consigli, he was playing like Buffon that game. So it was tough for them, but I feel like their head wasn't in the game. Gaetano, what do you think?
You wanna
go, Peter?
Well,
comment
first off,
on Inter?
yeah, I'll
or
comment
shall,
on Inter.
yeah.
I'll comment on
Okay,
Inter
okay.
because first off, there's a new saint in town, San Consigli, because the amount of saves he made.
Yeah, it was incredible.
So I'm upset in one, because this game you have to win because you don't know what's gonna happen in the future. Take care of your destiny first before hoping that somebody ties or someone loses. Number one. Number two, Inter played. I mean, they weren't as fluid as they should be versus Sassuolo, but we had so many opportunities to score. Icardi missing right in front of the goal. Then
A couple times.
yeah. I mean, Consigli saved with every part of his body, and just unfortunate. The only thing I have to say, throughout my years watching soccer, I hate when the coach changes the formation too early. I don't understand why you have to add another striker with 65 minutes. The game is 1-0. You do not have to do that. The Inter was already had the majority of the possession. What's the reason for changing the whole formation and then being weak on the counter?
The pressure from upstairs.
Because
Peter, that's what happened.
Berardi on the counter attack, he scored 2-0. Now that game is over. Instead, keep the formation how it is. Make minor tweaks by changing players in the same position, but do not change everything and throw and you leave just Brozovic by himself in the midfield, and you leave your team vulnerable to a counter attack.
Yeah, I thought that Inter they had a lot of chances. They played. They really wanted to win this game. There was some quality play. They had a lot of chances. But I thought that Spalletti he fixed the defense. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they are the second best defense of the whole league, or something like that. So he did adjust the defense. In midfield, he did put those two guys in front of the defense, which he did very well. Brozovic did well, Gagliardini. I mean, he had there, and then he had Rafinha, which was the link that I thought he was missing, and I thought he was doing well in the last games. And then of course you have Icardi that scores the goals. So I thought that Spalletti did that. And what is the problem with Inter? What is it? Is it maybe that the team there is a lot of individual players, but as a team maybe they don't. They're not all they don't click. They're not all together because, you have some good players there. But
excellent
so
players.
Maybe they're individuals and they cannot put it together. But the question that I want to ask you is, next week, Inter has to win in order to qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah.
So if they do not win, what happens to Icardi? Think another year without Champions League?
It's a good question. I think it depends on Inter. I think Icardi, truthfully, he's been saying for the whole year that he wants to stay with Inter. He's happy. They've pretty much given him everything. They give him the captain armband.
They gave him everything. They can ask for more.
What are you going to do with the captain?
But besides that, listen, for a player, that's something that of importance. They gave him the captain armband. It's his team. He's the man in Inter. He makes the most money on Inter. I'm sure if Inter wanted to keep him, they'll give him a contract. The whole thing is if there's any buyers. And if the price is right, if Inter doesn't make Champions League and the price is right, he goes. The only reason why is because they have debt. They have to pay
the financial
Rafinha,
fair play
Cancelo, financial fair play. And he's the most expensive player that they can sell.
No,
that's the only
what
thing.
This management, this new Inter management is going to do. I mean, this is the only thing that I'm afraid. No, same thing with AC Milan.
Yeah.
AC Milan is under pressure because now they have this kid here, Donnarumma, which lately has been a little wobbling. But I mean, for me, if the money is right, I would let Donnarumma go. Let him go. Maybe with the money that you're going to get from.
But it's also upsetting. Because you're Milan, you're Inter, you do not let your best player go.
Yeah,
or
but look what
one of your
Juventus
best players.
did. Juventus in the past, they
As long as you invest.
Look at me.
Yeah.
If you have a plan afterwards,
Juventus
it's good.
sold Zidane to Real Madrid for a lot of money.
No, I know, but you also invest that money.
That's
you
what they did.
You don't just pay off your debt.
Obviously, I mean, hey, you don't want to sell your best players and then or your most talented player and then come back empty-handed. Of course, you have to have something in exchange for. So I will let Icardi go because I think Icardi's got a lot of pressure right now.
Listen, after the game, Icardi actually said that I'll talk with the Inter management after. If they want me, I stay. If they don't, I leave. He said it like that, and he had in his mind that we're not making the Champions League. He was like, "Oh, Lazio's not gonna lose to Crotone."
That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
The way it stands now, I think they're 3 points away, right?
Now
They just have to win.
They
It's
have
the
to win.
same destiny that they had before.
The way it stands now, Crotone
worked
did
out
them a
perfectly.
huge favor.
Oh.
Zenga, they gotta pay him in millions. The way he helped
So they
them.
win, and they're in because
Yeah,
the
head-to-head.
the head-to-head
Head-to-head.
competition
They
was
tied
0-0
0-0.
in the first
And if
game.
they
so
win this one,
if they
they're
win this
through.
one, they'll go in.
Yeah.
My other question for Inter is Sabatini left Inter, which Sabatini is known to be a visionary. I mean, he's a very good wherever he goes. Why did he leave?
Well, there was a power struggle because he was never signed with Inter. He was signed with Zhang Sports, who was the overseer.
The conglomerate Chinese, the Chinese,
yes,
whatever.
because Suning also has a team in China, and he was overseeing everything. The only thing is a power struggle because Piero Ausilio is already their general manager. So you put Sabatini, you cannot put two people in the same position because everybody has. There's not one way to do something. Everybody has their way of doing something, and if you don't have that, it's also bad if you don't have that straight idea, 100% idea what you want to do as a team.
If you're on the same,
If
you're not on the
you're
same
not
page,
on the same page, it's dangerous because you're gonna buy a player from here, you're gonna buy a player from there, and it doesn't.
There's no
work into
communication,
the,
exactly.
into
It
the
doesn't
system.
work out like
So
that.
that was the major issue. I was sad to see him leave because he's done a great job with Roma. He's proven to know
I like
talent,
Sabatini.
and I was actually upset to see him go. But I think it was a decision that the Suning group or the Suning management had to take. Either keep Sabatini or keep Ausilio. And I guess they chose what was best for the club or what people working with Inter wanted.
Yeah.
What can we spend a few words about AC Milan and Atalanta?
We're gonna do that 2 games. Let's go into the next one. Let's talk about Lazio. I want to talk about Lazio and Crotone for a little bit. We know that if Lazio won that game, it was over. Immobile wasn't playing. Luis Alberto wasn't there. So and Crotone was fighting for relegation, and that's always gonna be a good game. Milinković-savić saved Lazio a little bit. He scored in the 82nd minute. He has the most goals in the Serie A as a midfielder. And I wonder if Lazio is going to keep him if they stay in the Champions League or not. Because he's been the most informed midfielder, even player in the Serie A this season. So I wonder what's going to happen with him. But what do you call it? Now it got interesting right now. Lazio didn't win, and we're gonna look at I think the best game of the next round. It's gonna be Lazio versus
Inter.
Lazio versus Inter.
And Milan Fiorentina too, because
and
they're
Milan,
both fighting.
that's
for,
also pretty good
to be on the UEFA
for Europe.
Napoli.
Yeah. There's actually a question before I want to go into questions. Someone actually asked, "What do you guys think the score is gonna be, and who's gonna go through for Lazio Inter?" I'll throw in a question.
I hope Lazio goes through.
Who do you think? Who do you want? And who do you want?
I want Lazio to go through because
Lazio?
I think as a team they are a better team.
I was actually
Inzaghi plays the team on the field a little better than Spalletti.
I was thinking neutrally here. I wanted Lazio in the beginning because I was like, oh, they're doing a great team. But what happens if they start selling all their players and they don't buy people? And in the Europa League, in the Champions League, they're gonna get embarrassed. And another Italian team's gonna leave out early or something.
Mike, Lazio has shown in the past that even selling some of their best players, they always come up with top players.
Inter might take it more seriously. They're going to have more money in the Champions League. They're going to spend. They're going to keep Icardi, and they're going to get more reinforcements. That's why I'm thinking about maybe it's better if Inter going.
Our speculation about who's going to stay, who's going to go, I think it's ludicrous because I'll tell you what happened.
Oh, wow.
A lot of those players, they already made their decision. They will not let their decision to be known publicly because as you know, Icardi doesn't make any decision on the team whether it's going to stay, whether it's not going to stay. It's his wife.
Wanda.
His wife, she's tired of being on Milan. She's going to tell him, I said, hey, we're going to New York or we're going to Singapore.
Sounds like most it sounds like most relationships.
All right, so it's not Icardi's decision or Moratti or the Suning organization.
Okay.
If she decided that she doesn't want to be there, she's going to go.
You think it's snapping a finger, right?
The same way Svechenko's wife made him leave from AC Milan because she wanted to go to London. This is the same thing that is happening to Icardi. Okay. And the other players that they are on the verge of being
Radar.
traded or deciding whether to stay or to leave.
What do you guys think, Peter, Gaetano? What do you think of the match? Lazio only need a draw and they're good.
Yeah, they need two scores out of 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Inter has to definitely win. I'm going for the team that's going to spend more money in the Champions League. So whoever's got more money to spend this year, that's the team that I'm going to go for.
Who do you think is going to win, though?
As far as I think, since Lazio needs either to win or tie, I think they have
what it takes.
What it takes. I think they're a little bit more favorite in this game.
Playing at the Olimpico also.
Play the Olympic.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna do it.
Peter. Peter's not so happy.
Hey, we knew what it came down to.
That's
As
true.
Inter, we had to play Lazio in Rome, and we had to win that game. Since losing last week, I think it also helps them maybe to bring that, get back into reality. It might get them a little bit nervous at first, but it all comes down to the top players stepping up. Icardi is going to score 2 goals. Capocannoniere over Immobile.
You think he's going to take it? Oh, my God.
And Inter is going to Champions League.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Okay.
God. Fairy tale story.
Santa is going to come down one more time. Listen to me. No, here's the deal. Watch. Those guys are so lucky. Because, Lazio could have lost the game too. But Lazio against Crotone, they should have won the
they should have
game.
won that.
If they would have won
Not
the
at this
game,
stage.
Lazio against Crotone, this will not even be a conversation.
For sure.
That's
so
true.
Christmas keeps coming to those guys all the time. Every week is a big Christmas present.
So
for
it's
those-
destiny then.
It is destiny. So listen, unfortunately, those losers, they might wind up getting into the Champions League because Lazio might have a lousy game and they'll be in the Champions League.
Remember, Luis Alberto is injured.
Immobile is doubtful.
Immobile is
It's,
doubtful, but
Yeah.
he's not going to have form. Even
Yeah,
if he
it's not
comes
gonna be
back, he doesn't have the
yeah.
form. I don't know how many minutes he has in his legs. Lazio, some of their players, they're not at a certain level where this final, quote unquote, maybe they're not used to it, playing at this type of level, this
Yeah.
type of pressure. De Vrij is a big question mark. Everybody's complaining in Italy because he supposedly signed with Inter and it came out.
They're
that
saying,
there's a
should he
little spot.
play or not?
Should he play,
Yeah.
given the fact that he's going to play with Inter
Vrij
next
is a
year?
Yeah, I want to hear
Professional.
your opinions
So,
on this. What do you guys think? though?
I agree with Antonio. I think as a
Wow.
professional player, you're going to play because also you don't look that far ahead in the future, and you have a duty to your teammates more than anything else.
Absolutely.
But
So
listen-
as a teammate, you're going to play 100%. The only issue that I see is if Lazio loses and something happens with De Vrij, you better get out as quickly as possible because they're going to say something. They're going to call something.
He's not coming out alive. I was actually agreeing with you, Peter, on that one. But look, you got to think about it. This is my last game with Lazio. I'm going to Inter. Should I score an own goal right now so we can go to the Champions League with Inter next season? Gaetano, come on, give me something. What do you think?
Like you're reading, you watching a lot of cartoons.
It's the Greek
What do
football.
you think?
They said that-
Or Greek footballs.
They said that psychologically, it might
Yeah.
have an effect on the player, but as a professional, you need to play and you need to
As a
play your
Lazio player.
your best game. You always go on the field to play your best game.
Yeah.
But I would like to say something about Inter and Lazio, Roma a little bit, but mostly Inter and Lazio. These teams, they go up and down,
So
up and
inconsistent.
down. I mean, what is it with the? I mean, you need to be focused when you're playing good soccer and you're winning some games. You need to keep that momentum going, and I feel like it happens to Inter and it happens to Lazio. Immobile scores the goal in the Europe League. They're winning by 3 goals,
Yeah,
and all of
I
a
know,
sudden, they go down and they get and the other teams comes back, and it reminds me of and then I'm going to say something good that you're going to like, but it reminds me something when I was growing up, and we were playing in the high school games and in college games, and we were winning 1-0, and the whole team, you're winning 2-0, the whole team would just relax a little bit because we're winning, and that's the worst, the worst attitude to have when you're winning 2-0. That's when you have to play your hardest.
Yeah.
And when I graduated from college and I played with with this player who had played in the Asian national team. I mean, the guy played at World Cup level.
Wow.
And we used to practice. Forget about playing in a game. Practice. The intensity that he would put in the practice, and it was just a pickup practice. And every time we were winning 1-0, he would scream harder. And when we were winning 2-0, it would scream even harder. Wow. And when we were winning 4-0, the guy would go berserk. If you made a mistake, just to tell you, you have to be in the game. You have to play your hardest when you're winning 2-0, and when you're winning 3-0, you play even harder, because this is what happened to, if you remember. It has happened a couple of times. You're winning 3-0, and then all of a sudden they tied the ground. AC Milan against Liverpool, and now it happened with Juventus against Real Madrid. And one thing that I like about Gattuso, when they were scored the 1-0, Gattuso was screaming his heart out on the sideline, for every play, even though you're winning. And that's the thing that I like best about Gattuso.
I think I've seen the press conference of Gattuso since you brought it up. I mean, this guy here, been a Calabrese, he gives the impression to people at the first look that this guy is a little bit on the rough side. But Gattuso psychologically, and he has the mentality of working on the head of the players, and how his approach is unbelievable. No. I am so impressed with Gattuso. I mean, at the beginning, I have to say it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, great player, great fighter, great. It was always the lion of the midfield, trying to break the everybody, the opponent game down and all the stuff. Mm-hmm. But if you actually look at the mentality of Gattuso, he's the winning mentality that every team on the teams that especially Gaetano named right now, they're supposed to have, because they have a drop in concentration, and their mentality is not really as in we're winning now, so they get accomplished.
And I think going off that point, I think that's a great point. And also with that player, that he would call for everybody else to raise the attention, even when you're winning 2-0, or more importantly, when you're winning 2-0. It comes down to also the players and the experience that they have at winning teams. Mm-hmm. Inter, Perisic was on Wolfsburg, Candreva, Lazio, Juventus when they weren't winning anything. Brozovic was playing in Croatia. These players don't have that winning experience, and I think that takes that's very important. Mm. Where Juventus, they're getting players like Mandzukic who won with Atletico Madrid, with different teams in Germany. You have also Douglas Costa coming from Bayern Munich. I'm sorry. Yeah, Douglas Costa came from Bayern Munich. Yeah. So I mean, these are players that won elsewhere. Buffon coming from Juventus in the heyday, World Cup winner. These are players that have won everywhere, and these are the players that they attract and they have on their team. Whereas Napoli has no real winning experience.
You know what really disappointed me the most about Napoli, since you brought it up, is that the two most representative players like Immobile and Mertens.
Insigne.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Insigne and Mertens. Those they faded. The last 4 or 5 games, they kind of melted.
I think they were just burned out. To be honest,
I think it was more psychological than anything else.
You think that too? That adds on to it.
They had too much pressure on carrying the team week after week after week after week, then to the point that. They couldn't have the pressure.
But that's my main thing. I think it's all about the experience of the players and winning. If you have the winning mentality
and tough mental toughness, and this also helps you in life, not only in soccer. Of course, because everything that I learned from soccer, then I transfer into life. So for the young people that are playing soccer, you need to have that tough mentality.
Never give up.
To never give up, even on your everyday life.
No, 100%.
Listen, I have an important question for you, because you know those two players. What do you think about Mancini signing for the to be the Italian
we're gonna
coach?
jump in for that already.
And Pirlo.
You wanna go
Let's
finish the Serie A.
You want to finish the Serie A and do that? Okay.
Wait, let me say one more thing about Gattuso, since we are on the topics. Okay, Gattuso, after they scored the goal, like Gaetano said, a few minutes after they restart the game, he was yelling at Suso for not coming back So
That's exactly
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm
and Suso
I'm
is
talking
one
about.
of the top 3 or 4 players, but Gattuso wants the whole team to work as a team, not just few players relax. And especially when you lose the ball, you're not coming back. Gattuso went banana. So immediately 4 or 5 minutes later, Suso was already sitting on the bench, and he put unfortunately he put Montolivo, that he made 2 major blunders.
Yeah.
And I think Montolivo cost us the tie today. I mean, I like Montolivo. He was a great player, but right now it's, But I don't want to take anything away
He's
from
not
Atalanta.
he's not an AC Milan player.
Yeah, Atalanta deserved the tie, nevertheless, and it was a raining game. But I will have the sign for the tie at the beginning of the game, because I said myself, I just hope we don't lose today.
And they jump over.
And, Gasperini was not sitting on the bench; he was sitting on the stands, and that helped too. So.
That was actually the most games this season with the most cards. It had 12 cards, the Atalanta Milan game, 10 yellow cards and 2 red cards. So it was crazy dirty. Donnarumma, did you guys see it? Slipped out of his hand. Everyone was blaming him. I kind of feel bad, but maybe he had that Juve game in his head too, where he messed up a little bit.
He's too young. He's too young right now. I want just next year. If next year this is still happening, the kid needs some work.
Yeah, I think
Next year, where? If he's still with
Oh.
AC
I
Milan.
don't know. I mean, hey, if we're gonna sell it, I think AC Milan getting $60 million. It was a good money. I will just give him away.
Where do you think he'd go if he'd go?
60 or anywhere. I don't care.
PSG?
Now. I don't care.
You don't care?
I want him to be
Does
in
he
Italy.
still go for 60 million after these
Oh
mistakes?
yeah. There are
man.
teams that will spend 60
He's
million.
so
for somebody
young.
like
In
that.
a couple of years, I'm sure
No, I
all
know
those small
that.
blemishes
But
would
look,
vanish.
in Italy, in the past, recent past, there's been players that the next day Scoffet, remember,
Yeah.
from Udinese.
He's not even playing. They're Bizzarri and ahead of him
he
is like
was-
40 years old.
Yeah, and he was the next hot thing. I'm not trying to take anything away from Donnarumma, but Donnarumma has to now step up. And become the goalkeeper that everyone wants him to become. Especially the fact that Buffon is on his way to retirement. Italy's, we were supposed to have Donnarumma, but if he's making these mistakes, that's one position where you really cannot afford to make a mistake.
Listen, the only team that I wouldn't want to see Donnarumma is Juventus.
He could come to Inter.
I don't care.
They said the same thing how you said about what goalkeeper were you just saying?
Scoffet?
They were saying it about what's his name, Meret too. He
Meret,
was another
another
one.
Meret
Didn't
is a
really.
good goalkeeper.
But he's still
he's still a
fine.
good goalkeeper.
He's still young.
Actually, the rumors is that Juventus is going after Perin already.
Perin.
So we will see.
Apparently. Yeah, we're going to talk more about that. Let's move into another game. Let's talk about the Roma and Juve game.
Oh, what a boring game.
Yeah, it was
What a
extremely boring.
game.
We knew all they needed was a tie, and they were all good. to win
I
the
want to say
Scudetto.
something, Mike,
Yeah.
that really got me upset. I mean,
Wow.
this was an episode against Juventus, as much as I hate to say it.
Okay.
That was a penalty on Dybala, or it was a push
Oh,
from behind.
Juan
It was
Jesus.
so clean.
The one with Fazio? I think it was
No,
Fazio.
Juan Jesus.
Juan,
Jesus.
it was a big
Juan-
shove, right? It was a little
Big
aggressive.
time.
It was
very
aggressive.
clean that the guy with his hand, the motion
Yeah,
that
you
he
see him.
pushed him down. Now, why was not the VAR invoked on that particular case? I think there was the two teams, they spoke with each other before the game.
Come on.
Let me tell you
Biscotto,
something.
right?
Nobody. This was a tie that was already agreed before. There was
Biscotto. The
yeah,
famoso
that was
Biscotto.
the biscotto. You're right. I don't
Gaetano,
know.
what do you think?
I don't
Nonsense?
know.
I
Why?
don't think so.
Why nobody complained about the play against Dybala?
Get him, Gaetano.
Nonsense.
Nonsense?
If I would believe in Biscotto, I would not be watching soccer.
I don't know. To me, it was a clean penalty.
I think the only thing I think Antonio's trying to make a point is that why isn't VAR being reviewed in
Yeah.
that
Instance, yeah.
I think that's a fair question, because you do see Juan Jesus pushing, extending. The only thing is that I can think of was that during the actual motion of him putting his body and stuff like that, and then afterwards slow.
Peter,
So,
you
like,
can see the hand.
but that's throughout the whole foul, you see like he has his body positioned
Right.
and then once Dybala starts leaning in a little bit, that's when he actually.
But Dybala
extends the
didn't
arm.
go down. Dybala
Afterwards, he
he
went
was almost thrown like at 20 yards.
Listen,
know.
I think from what I understand, which
And Allegri did not complain either.
we
from the
said,
sideline.
that
That's
it's,
what makes me think too.
complicated, but if the referee was there and he saw what happened and that's his decision, there's no need to review it, because that the call that he made, it stands. But there should be somebody also watching that and talking, somebody from the outside, talking to the referee and saying, hey, this is what I saw.
Just in case, right? A backup or something.
Yeah, but Gaetano, what really still makes me think about it, no one from the Juventus players even complained. I mean, hey, maybe those guys, they were told, they said, guys, let's take it easy. This is going to be a tight game. Don't complain. No hard foul. No protesting. Look, the second yellow card, even on Nainggolan, it was something that he went after it, and the ref couldn't really hide it anymore. And Nainggolan went really hard on.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
So he deserved the second yellow, and he was thrown out. There were no major complaint. I didn't see complaining. You know why? I think the game was already set up. I hope I'm wrong.
There was no game set up.
I hope I'm wrong.
Stop.
I don't think so.
Sometimes during the game, I mean, if you see that you're at a part of the game where you're not pressing anymore, maybe you don't want it to send all your players up and be left for the counterattack. So at one point of the game, you say, okay, yeah, I'm not going to press that much. This is good enough, but not from the beginning. Come on.
No, the beginning actually, Roma, the first 15 minutes, Roma played hard. But then after that, that's it. The game was falling asleep.
I think after the red card changed the game.
That too.
Because then Roma had to be careful because like not necessarily the biscotto, giving the game away,
that was the cappuccino,
but just
probably.
being reserved and making sure that you have everything covered. And if you have the chance to score, you go and score. If not,
Juventus
there's no
didn't
need.
press.
You weren't pressing.
Because both teams didn't need to win.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different
Yeah.
objective.
Okay, we talked about Juventus, how they, how they won the Scudetto. I just want to say a couple more stats. This was Buffon, first ever player in the Serie A to win 9 Scudetti. First ever player, so a huge congratulations. Buffon's been there forever, even before I was watching Calcio, before I was even into the sport. So, he's a legend himself. Allegri won 9 titles in 4 years. He won 4 Scudetti, he won 4 Coppa Italias, and he won a Supercoppa. So in 4 years, that's a lot of trophies for him. Most successful coach, You got to say in Italy, I'd say, and trophy-wise.
Wow.
You can't say anything about that.
that.
Yeah, that's
Very
a lot. But, yeah.
And also with Milan.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah. He also won.
Spalletti. I mean, his trophy didn't win.
When he gets a little bit more of a budget next
Zenit.
season, I think he's going to be
No, but this is your statistic was in 4 years. He won 9 titles.
9 titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won
All
with
this
AC
time
Milan.
All this time in Juventus, I'm saying the past
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
So it was
4
more
years.
dominant like that. But since we talked...
I'm sure there will be people that will be criticizing Allegri.
No, 100%.
Which if you
there's always the people are always gonna bring up the Champions League and lose in the final, but you can't put that on top of him. Do you guys think Allegri's gonna stay, and do you want him to stay?
I want him to go.
You want why?
Yeah, because it's cycle, the Juventus cycle, the cycle of a cycle ends when the core players they leave. Bonucci's gone, Barzagli is gonna go,
Buffon
Lichtsteiner is gonna go,
Marchisio.
and if Allegri leaves, maybe Marchisio is gonna stay. But Marchisio, I see him on the way out too.
So do I.
But Chiellini is probably the next one. He's probably gonna be one of the few left for maybe a couple more years. Other than that, this is a team that has to
rebuild phase.
They have to find a new leadership. I don't know who's gonna be the new leader right now. Dybala, if he stays, they could rebuild around him. But if Dybala leaves and the pressure from outside is extremely high, then you're gonna, Juventus. I don't see Juventus now. I mean, to win the Campionato it's not even the issue. They let them win another 20 on a row. Who cares? But I don't think Juventus is going to be a winning team in Europe.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
What if they get a high caliber coach like Ancelotti? What do you guys think for Allegri? Should he go? Should he stay? Who
Coach
should
doesn't
replace
win
him?
doesn't win games.
Come on, the coach
You
doesn't
need
win
players.
games. What do you guys think? What's on your mind?
I think Allegri. I think he's gonna go. I think
so?
He won. He won, like you said, 9 titles in 4 years. He's still people are criticizing him. So
He might command a big salary with
I think it's gonna.
team.
It probably somebody's gonna give him a lot of money, and it's gonna just decide.
Wait, outside of Europe, you think? Or
Yeah.
England.
Really?
Outside
Outside of
England.
Italy.
Okay.
It all depends on his ambitions, because a lot of the coaches now, it's not so much stay in Serie A. It's about going to England, being able to test your skill set in different countries. And I think that, there's a good possibility him going to England, Arsenal now. I mean, with Arsene Wenger retiring is a good possibility for Allegri. There's some quality players there. Maybe if he comes up with a good project, or they're willing to spend some money, even though they're out of Champions League this year, it could be a good rebuilding project for him, a challenge for him. But I don't know. It also depends if he feels that this team is able to compete the next year. Like you said, it's the end of the cycle. I'm not too sure about that. I still think that there's players there that are young enough and they still can play. Yes, you lose Buffon, you lose Barzagli, but Chiellini's still there. Rugani's been playing in some. Listen, Rugani's been playing and he's been able to. They're still winning. There's players that they're looking at from Atalanta that's coming. So
Caldara, that's right.
Caldara, Spinazzola is another one that's in the mix. So these it might seem like, oh, these guys are retiring, but Juventus, they have a plan and they're able to fill in these positions.
Yeah.
What would be interesting to see is if there's anybody coming from the youth ranks, because that, besides
not from Juventus youth, somebody else youth.
No, but I mean Juventus still has a good youth rank.
Yeah,
but the only thing is haven't seen him much because their ambitions of winning Champions League is getting the player that has that experience, getting that player that can win you the game. And unfortunately, the younger player, which I want to say, which a lot of people don't agree with me, I think Juventus going into Serie B helped them win these 7 years. Why? Because you were forced now to let these certain players like Chiellini, like Marchisio, at one point Jovinko, you're forcing them to play in Juventus and you develop that winning mentality into what is now your starting team, and it gave them a chance to play. Maybe they didn't have the exaggeration is going to Serie B. If they weren't fighting like how Milan and Inter are right now, not fighting for Scudetto, you're able to get these younger players like Milan, Donnarumma, Locatelli, Cutrone this year.
We'll see. You know what? Talking about another Juventus player, I saw a goal of Giaccherini today.
Oh my God, for Chievo, that was incredible. I saw that.
Giaccherini was on the Nazionale for several years when Conte was around, and Conte really valued the job that this guy did in Juventus.
And he was on the bench for Napoli too.
He was sat down by Sarri. See, this is another criticism.
He was mad at Sarri. He was extremely mad when he left.
He was humiliated by Sarri.
Yeah, I know. You can't do that.
This kid here, he was a bullet on the left wing, and he always sacrificed for the team. He never was a selfish player, but he was sat down maybe because he was overlapping with Insigne, or he couldn't play on the same position that Insigne played, whichever the case might be. This is the major criticism that Sarri is not taking very well. Look at today what happened with Napoli. One of the players that he was sat for a while, I mean, he was injured a little bit too. He scored a spectacular goal too for Napoli. What was his name? Savić. No, Savić.
Milik, the Polish striker.
Yeah, he's been injured.
Okay.
That's
exactly. He's been on and off. Yeah.
So Napoli's depth was just a depth that was created by the coach. In other words, you don't have a depth because the coach did not develop the team deep enough to be placed into the field at any time and be interchangeable when the situation presents itself.
No, but I think they have the players. They had,
They had it, but they were not used.
Didn't use them, and then they weren't at the level of Juventus.
Scudetto, like you can make fun of Sarri and stuff, but you got to see maybe they didn't have the budget to. Well, no, they don't have the budget to have a second team like Juventus do. So you're saying put in Giaccherini, but then you see he's not going to be on the same level as Insigne. So I gotta.
But when Insigne is not producing, when Insigne is injured, you need somebody like.
For the most part, he was producing and he wasn't injured.
But look at what happened the last 4 or 5 games or 6 games. That's the critical time. That's when Insigne is supposed to be producing. Insigne was a wall.
Yeah, but Sarri's style of play is a lot different than Conte's style of play.
Exactly.
So the player doesn't fit, quote unquote, Sarri's style. He wants more of a creative player that's able to
with flair.
A player like Cassano. Castano would fit Sarri's pro.
Castano would fit any team with any team.
But most importantly, Sarri.
He's gonna rip the jersey off.
All right, let's see what for the European League. I think since Juventus won, there is going to be 7 teams now going to Europe, right?
Before we're gonna go to Europe, I just want to talk a little bit about Sarri, what he said after the match, because he said some controversial stuff. Before I say that, Napoli got a record of 88 points, or the most they ever got in the Serie A, so they broke that record.
And they still have next week, I guess, yeah, so they can just add to it.
Yeah, they could just add to it, exactly. Sarri said after the game, Juve are definitely more powerful, but I don't know if they deserve the Scudetto. We lost a Scudetto in our hotel in Florence, not on the pitch. So basically saying when they saw the game, Juve versus Inter, when Juve came back. You guys remember
the last
that?
3 minutes.
The last 3 minutes. They saw that, and apparently it was destroyed. So he's saying that mental block really messed with them. He also added. The last 16 games.
That's what he actually said.
Say that again.
Yeah.
So he said that when they were.
I'll repeat the quote because it was a deep one.
Juventus played first.
Yeah, Saturday when they versed.
Yeah, when they played Inter first.
But wasn't this his complaint? What was his complaint? That they always play first, and then they play after.
He's complained in the past about that.
Right, but now he complained that he played after. That he saw the game before, Juventus played before, and then they played after.
And that they played, but that was
just stop complaining and win
the
the game,
please. Let me say this other quote though. He said the last 16 games we played, of the 14 of them were after Juve. We have to improve our mentality, but so does the league. So he's basically saying
he's blaming the league too.
In the beginning, I was like, okay, listen, it came to you. That's it. I was like, don't complain, don't be a baby. But listen, 14 out of the 16 games, that's a lot. Played after Juventus, and you gotta put in the fact, Juve is obviously the best team in Italy. And once they win, you always feel like, okay, I have to win. I can't drop points, and that messes with you mentally.
Yeah, so but Mike, that was not the case when he was winning, when he was on top of Juventus. Why never complained when he was leading the Serie A?
I think at the end,
it was at the end. He got less out of his favor for Napoli.
But you know what? The draw was done at the beginning of the Campionato.
Yeah,
so it's either you.
No, they changed the times.
They changed the time?
Yeah, they changed the times and dates
Peter.
depending on Champions League.
You're right.
It's not set in stone.
A few, yeah, that's right.
Not even a few.
Because
they don't.
Because
they
of
only
Europe.
do the schedule maybe a couple of months, and then eventually they keep on changing depending if you have Champions League games.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why Juventus gets the Saturday's game, majority of Saturday games, because they have
they
Champions
play in
League.
Europe.
Napoli got kicked out. They put them on Sunday also because of TV.
Okay,
but you blame Sarri now, but what he said is kind of valid. But then you could say, 14 out of the 16, that's a lot of games. That's a lot of games right there.
But Mike, soccer has been played on the field. I mean, some of those players, weak players will get something like that getting into their heads. But this is what Gaetano was saying before, the winning mentality. He has to transcend from all of those, they're playing Saturday again, we're playing Sunday. You are going over there and you have an opponent. You have to just win on the field.
There's no pity for them at all. You guys are like, forget it. I was like, that's it.
I don't think you could really complain in the earlier games. I can understand maybe these later games where now it's, 5
more
games
decisive.
Something.
Yeah.
The pressure builds because in January and February there's pressure to win, but it's not like the pressure to win in now in May,
of course,
or in April. Look at all these teams that are on the bottom. If all these teams on the bottom played the way they played in the last 5 games of Serie A,
they wouldn't
be the problem.
Cagliari played a game against Fiorentina, unbelievable.
So we have to remember these players are human.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna, mental approach is very important. I know you hate Mourinho, but he knows the right mental games, right? Approach.
Gaetano, come on, tell me. I know you. I want to hear your opinion. Just what you think of Sarri. You think he's completely a crybaby, or he has a point that 14 out of the 16? That's a huge number.
I
played
think he's
after
a
Juve.
crybaby too.
Be honest. Be honest here. Does he have a point?
I don't know. Just go out and play. I hate when you start making excuses for, just go and win the game and stop. I don't know. Would Juventus, if it was the other way around, I don't see Allegri going and saying, oh, but we played. Just go and play and win the game.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
It's also true that by you saying this, because it wasn't the first time that he says it, it gives that
Yeah.
reason for the player to say, "Oh, look,
Right.
this."
But, you
Yeah,
know, this
exactly.
guy-
Another
no,
mental thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but no, this guy is getting into the head of the league because let's not forget that the rating in Italy, they have been driven by Roma, Juventus, Napoli, Milan,
Inter.
maybe Lazio a little bit. That's it. So those are the people, the 5 or 6 people sitting around the table and said, "Hey, listen, I want my games on Sunday night at 8:30 because I wanted the maximum
Exactly.
audience." Just to pay attention to the game, and then I wanted the interview of my best players at the Domenica Sportiva right after the game. So marketing plays a big role over there.
Of course.
The time plays a big role. And now Sarri, I think he got into the mentality, and he said, "Okay, let's throw this on the table. So maybe they're gonna redesign the campionato in a way that is not gonna be favoring us, but they're gonna keep us into the account of being playing those kind of games as well as Juventus and those other teams that have been benefiting, according to Sarri, from playing after them." So, I think it's this De Laurentiis and the Agnellis, the De Laurentiis before was Berlusconi and the Moratti. They always had this major fight about ratings. Okay,
To make the most money.
Huh?
To make the most money at the end of the day,
course.
too,
This, again, Mike, let's not forget that soccer.
It's a
It is a
business.
sport,
Yeah.
but right now it's being driven by money only.
Yeah.
And I was watching the game this morning. I don't know which. I forgot which one. I saw that during the game, the only commercial that was running on the tabelloni on the sideline was the soccer betting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that's big.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's huge. It's
in
huge
Europe.
in Italy.
It's unbelievable. Everywhere. It's not that was a commercial of I don't know Buitoni or Barilla or Adidas or something. No, it was only about the soccer betting, and even the live commercial on the TV was about soccer betting.
That's what it is. Okay, guys, let's move on. We got Europa League to talk about, and we got the relegation. So let's talk about Europa first. We know Milan and Atalanta. They're still fighting for it. I want to bring up the table.
But I think it's the first 7 teams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, apparently.
Because Juventus won the Coppa Italia. So if you count the first 7 teams, where you end up with? You end up at Atalanta.
With Atalanta there.
And Fiorentina has got 57, Atalanta has got 60. So
Yeah.
I think that Fiorentina is out.
Yeah.
For goal difference, actually, they're out. But now AC Milan and Atalanta, they're fighting for that 6th place because they have to go through one less round of
Okay.
European.
Okay.
So obviously you don't want to risk that. And whatever happens there happens. If Milan ties their next game and Atalanta wins their next game, that's it. Atalanta's hopping Milan
Okay.
and they're taking their spot.
All right.
So
But the Milan's still going to be in Europe, but they have to go through an extra game.
they have to go through an extra round,
Well,
which
the
is
thing is, you start in July.
Right.
and you
instead of
start
August.
earlier.
So there
And
is
you
no
lose-
vacation.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
vacation.
Huh.
You start earlier, so your season is longer, and you lose the money for your, the tournaments that they have in the
Sure.
summer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I hope. I think Milan is going to win.
Milan's
Sunday.
playing Fiorentina next,
Yeah.
and Atalanta's playing Cagliari next. So Fiorentina, we know they're a tough opponent, so anything could happen there. Atalanta's playing Cagliari, and Cagliari's still fighting to stay in the Serie A. So both those games are going to be really good, and anything can happen. It's not
Cagliari,
gonna be
by winning today, that's 3 big points today.
easy against Fiorentina.
I think Cagliari should have even at least tie Roma.
So let's look
last
at
week.
at the end, at
Let's
the bottom.
Let's look at the relegation right now. Okay. So we got Benevento and Hellas Verona already relegated. So we got one more spot left, 18th place. And we got 5 teams fighting to stay in the Serie A. We got Crotone, 35 points with Spa, Cagliari, 36 points, and Chievo and Udinese with 37 points. And I want to tell you guys a little
It's not over. It's
No,
not over.
it's
not at all.
It's gonna be
Let
rough.
Let me tell you who they're all playing next, and I want you guys to tell me who's going to Serie B with Benevento and Hellas Verona. Okay, we got Crotone is playing Napoli away.
Whoa.
Yeah, Napoli's mad about the Scudetto, so I don't know if Napoli's gonna take that
I
one
think
easy.
Crotone might tie.
Let me finish. Spal versus Sampdoria at home. Cagliari versus Atalanta at home. Udinese versus Bologna at home. And Chievo versus Benevento at home. So Crotone definitely have the hardest match and playing away from home. What do you guys think? Who's going down? Let me show you the table again.
Listen, I think Cagliari's got nothing. I mean, Napoli's got nothing else.
But you don't think they're gonna go extra though?
Who is Spal playing?
Spal is playing Sampdoria at home.
Spal's got a good team, but Gianpaolo, I think, is disappointed that he didn't get into the champion. So he's gonna let it's the second team playing.
You think?
Oh, I know,
Okay.
but that's
Okay.
what he's gonna do. And especially the people that sat on the bench most of the year. So he's gonna put the second team, and I think Spal is gonna have the advantage of they're gonna win the game.
So who do you think's going down?
I think Crotone. If Napoli, Napoli, they have no more nothing else. They are in the Champions League.
Okay.
They are second place. The only thing that they can improve is their
record and
records.
pride.
Yeah, the pride. I mean, the pride.
I still think they're gonna go hard, even though maybe not full squad, but they're gonna go pretty tough on that one.
But listen to this,
What?
Mike. Napoli might wind up sitting Insigne, might wind up sitting all of those best players, and then let the people that he benched for the entire year.
But they're not bad players, even though they're playing a
But that's
you
what
know what
I'm saying. But
saying?
Crotone is not a bad team
That's
too.
true,
I
yeah.
mean, hey, look at this. Crotone has he's been given hard time to a lot of teams.
Yeah, 100%.
Even Cagliari could have won the game against Roma last week, but they wound up losing 1-0. So look what happened today. They won 2-1. And not that the Fiorentina deserved to lose 2-1, but nevertheless, hey, you have to just put it on the field and look. Inter wound up losing with Sassuolo. Your mentality is gonna be, winning. To me, Napoli's got nothing.
Okay.
Nothing,
Yeah, but I don't see Napoli losing. They're tie, and tie is not
They're
good
gonna
enough. Tie is not good enough.
So if the tie is not good enough, I think
don't
Crotone
think
is
so.
done. Crotone
I
is
don't
done.
think
It's
so,
the fourth
because
team.
It depends with the other fixtures. At the
after
end of the
this,
day.
no, but after this week, you had Chievo winning, you had Udinese winning,
Yeah.
and Spal actually was in the lead, and they ended up losing, and Crotone tying. So
The thing is, if Crotone tie and Spal don't win, that's Spal are going down.
Spal would go down.
Spal will go
35. But if Spal ties and Crotone ties,
Then
Yep.
Crotone is
who
going.
has it depends on head to head.
Spal, I'm pretty sure head-to-head is better and goal difference.
Listen,
so
what
I think
happens if
Crotone is
Cagliari
going down.
loses against Atalanta?
If Cagliari loses against Atalanta,
It
all
depends on
the
other.
other
Yeah.
teams.
Could be a
because it's
three-way
one
tie.
point. Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
guys, I want your answers right now. I think Crotone is
think-
going down. Napoli's not losing.
Cagliari is not
Crotone
losing. It's not going to lose against Atalanta. I think they're
Yeah.
gonna win.
Yeah, I don't think
I thought
Napoli
they're gonna win or they're gonna tie.
Gaetano, go.
Yeah, I don't think Napoli is gonna lose.
So but
Yeah.
a point. What you think they're gonna
No,
tie?
a point is not good enough for Crotone.
So you think Crotone is out?
Yeah.
No miracle this time, right?
No.
Like last season.
So Crotone is out, and then I want Spal to go.
Oh, it's
Why
fine.
not?
It's only one
Peter,
team.
who do you think? Yeah, it's one.
I want
I
Spal to
think
go.
Crotone has a lot against them playing Napoli.
And away.
Yeah,
Listen,
so-
I will put $1,000 on.
But I feel bad. They helped us out, so I think
on Crotone.
I'm gonna
yeah.
say let's have Crotone win,
See, you see.
go up,
Oh,
stay in
they
Serie
have
A,
Peters out. They have Peters out.
and Cagliari is gonna go down.
No, I can't.
No,
There's a
keep
Greek in Cagliari.
here.
No.
Cagliari's got a big crowd. Cagliari's like
Come
a
on,
nation.
they're an island too. They're a little island. I want them to stay up.
You know what?
I
have a
don't
new
want them
stadium
to go
too,
down,
don't they?
Yeah,
but
but Peter's
I
got
gotta
a
make a
place.
decision.
Yeah,
Zenga, make sure Zenga stays. We need another coach
Yeah.
that likes Inter.
Okay, Gaetano, I want to ask you about questions since he brought up the Zenga as a coach of Crotone. What do you think about Pirlo joining Mancini?
Yeah, okay,
in
let's
the
talk about that
national
stuff.
Team, man. This is the
is
reasons
it
why I'm
confirmed?
wearing the
It's
Italian
confirmed?
national shirt. Yes.
No,
Yes.
not 100%. They want Pirlo. Mancini is he's already finished with Zena. He's going to that Zuri. He's gonna be the next coach. And
Pirlo is going to
Pirlo,
join
most
Mancini.
likely, nothing's official yet.
So this is a great thing, a great thing for Italian
I
national
thought
team.
Pirlo was gonna go with Ancelotti.
No, he's coaching with Mancini. He's going to be assisting Mancini,
Really?
coaching
Oh,
the Italian
that'd be
national
interesting.
team. E questi sono due registi, two
Masterminds.
Yeah, those are unbelievable player. They're going to command the respect of everybody that is going to be wearing the Italian national jersey, and they're going to bring Balotelli back.
Do you think Mancini has what it takes though?
Mario is coming back. Super Mario is coming back. And this is going to be a slap on the face to everyone that doesn't believe on this kid here. This kid here was the top player on the Italian national team. Then we marginated the guy because he has a little funny behavior. You know, alla Cassano maybe sometime, or maybe alla Balotelli. But we have to just learn in Italy how to value talents on the field, not out of the field. I need you for what you do on the field. Okay? And I think Balotelli is going to be a big plus for us. Please bring him back. Mancini, if you're listening to me, Bring him back.
Speaking about Balotelli, he actually scored a brace against Nice, so he has over 101 club league goals in his career. He has a he could score
again. Today's on the.
He scored two goals the other
we
day.
are.
Okay, well, where is he playing?
That was
Come
never
on,
the problem.
He's playing in France.
Oh,
Okay, what do you
Gaetano's going crazy in France.
Yeah, come on, give me a break. He's a good player, but
I'd still call him
he's
back
not-
though, just to try him out. You
Nah.
wouldn't to try him
Better than
out?
Belotti.
Yeah, I know. Belotti, what's he have? I think 10 goals. Oh
Or
my
better
God.
than Insigne in the national team. What did Insigne do?
on.
Nothing.
I'm surprised you didn't say Immobile.
What did another Immobile?
There we
What
go.
did they
There we
do?
go.
On their clubs, they're excellent players. But what do they do on the national team? They choke.
But name the whole squad isn't good though. The whole
They
Azzurri.
choke. The forward line in the Italian national team is a line of chokers. Okay? We need
Ventura
an
brought that
extravagant head over there that is going to change things around. Okay? And I think Balotelli
We need
could be the
Cassano
guy.
there.
Oh my goodness. Please.
Peter,
I'll
go,
call
six.
Mancini. I'll call Mancini.
I think Antonio's right. You gotta call Balotelli
I
back.
would call him
I
too.
mean, the guy, even though as destructive as he could be, and has been in the past, right now the state of Italy,
It's so low right now. Nothing. You can't go lower. I think bring everyone.
you
in.
cannot exactly. You try. You're doing.
You try everyone, even Jovinko. I'd bring
Everybody
Jovinko up.
should have the chance to prove themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't pass the test, then Mancini has the right. But everyone has the
Gaetano's
the
mad.
need to
Gaetano's
prove himself.
speaking.
Also,
Say
Mancini has dealt with Balotelli in the past,
That's
so he
true.
knows already what to expect and how to deal with it.
A few fights with him, too.
with Manchester City. Yeah, but listen, it's all growing pains. He was,
That's true.
Balotelli maybe he had too much success too quick, and
Got to his head.
Yeah,
Gaetano
but-
knows Balotelli too well.
yeah. But the thing is, he's also on the transfer market this year. He
Oh,
said that he
beautiful.
wants to go to Italy.
He said
come
he's
back
done with
to
it.
Italy.
He actually said thank you, Nice, for everything.
Yeah.
He said it, so he's like,
Napoli,
he's coming
Napoli
back.
might be
He
the
wants
That's
to,
what
and
they're
he wants to
saying.
come back to Italy. Not
Napoli
not to
doesn't
England.
cost anything, right?
Yeah, it's a parameter zero.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a free transfer.
That's unbelievable.
So-
I just hope Gattuso brings him back on AC Milan.
Naples, here I come.
You think?
I think so.
Everyone's saying Napoli. I can see.
That
it.
would be
might be,
good. I would like that. But
Okay.
But Balotelli is not going to save Italy.
You don't
Take
think
it
so?
easy.
to save,
I don't
no.
know.
But
Maybe-
I think he deserves
to
a
give
chance.
confident. I definitely think he deserves another chance. I want to move on to another Italian prospect, Perin. Perin said he wants to leave to a huge club, and the director of Genoa actually said he will go to the highest bidder. So, what do you guys think Perin is worth, and where do you think Perin should go?
Perin is a great goalkeeper, but not as good as Alisson.
And
or
injury prone.
Is a little, but
Yeah.
Perin can go in any team. Believe me, it's
Most teams.
It's on the top 4 or 5 in Europe. I would say.
Wow.
So it
Ooh, 4 or
is.
5.
in Europe.
Yeah.
Maybe 12, 15, I'd say.
No.
He's not a Manchester United. He's not a Barcelona, Real
Bayern
Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Manchester City goalkeeper. Other than that,
Perin is much better than the goalkeeper of Real Madrid right now.
Navas? I don't know. too much
Perin
about it.
is by far, not by little.
Navas in the last game, he
Guys, give me your give me a price tag for Perin. How much is he worth? Take in consideration that he
Perin-
gets injured too. So that's
35,
always your
30, 35 million.
How old is he?
He is
28
let me see,
probably.
Maybe 27. He
I
is
was-
20. He's 25.
25.
Wow.
See?
Okay.
25?
That's going up. That price go.
Listen, I will see him in Juventus. Buffon is gone. Even it could be the second.
Juventus
Chesney.
has a goal.
Go, Gaetano. Give me a price.
$30 million.
Yeah, probably in the 30, 35.
Yeah, I would even say depending if he stays in Italy or he goes out of Italy. If he
Stay-
stays in Italy, he goes to 30,
Oh.
35. If he goes out of Italy, 45,
40.
50.
No,
Yeah.
they're not going to spend
They're-
that money outside.
They were saying for Juventus to keep him as a second keeper, but
Nah,
I
that
think
wouldn't make
Perin
any
doesn't want to
sense.
do that. He wants to be a starter.
It
And it'd
wouldn't
be a
make
waste
sense
if
for
he's
him.
second. He has to be a starter a lot. So everyone's saying Napoli because Peperina's gonna go to Milan. So I think that might
That
be
would
a
have
very
been
good.
a good goalkeeper for AC Milan.
Hey, look.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll take him. I'll definitely take
That's
him.
what second keeper.
Sure. No, I'll let Donnarumma go.
No, if
Yeah,
Donnarumma
so-
goes, he could have been the.
How about for Napoli? You don't think he'd fit? I think he'd fit Napoli great.
I think so too, but it
What
all
do you-
depends on what the project is
That's
right
true.
now. Because De Laurentiis, he wants to complain about the refs or complain about stuff, but he has a role in Napoli's not getting the Scudetto.
But Pete, don't you think
January transfer market, you gotta spend money. Sorry.
Yeah, but Pete,
That's
don't you
true.
think De Laurentiis made a lot of money? It was almost sold out for every game.
Without a doubt. No, listen. If you're a Napoli fan, you cannot be upset with De Laurentiis. The guy brought you from Serie C to Serie A to being relevant again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're playing in Champions League. You're fighting for Scudetto. You know, Napoli right now they're at a good level. What I'm upset about is you this year had a duty to make sure that team had every possibility to win the Scudetto, and you didn't buy anybody in June, and you didn't buy anybody in January.
They put all their eggs in one basket.
But
They
who
hope for the
did?
best.
Okay, he didn't buy it. But who was asked to? Who was Sarri pointing to? Who wanted? Which player Sarri wanted to? Did you know anything about it? I never heard that Sarri wanted. I don't know. Or Balotelli, or one. I don't know. Somebody else from the English Premier League. I didn't see many of those names.
Gulam was injured, and they had
That's
Mario
true.
Rui. They didn't have any other left back. Mario Rui, unfortunately, he's played in Sarri's system. That's why he was selected.
He did very well, Mario Rui.
He did, but he was not Gulam.
Yeah, he wasn't
Gulam
Gulam.
was 10 times better than him.
Of course.
Set pieces, crosses, stuff like that. It's a difference. So I think De Laurentiis on Sarri or Napoli in general had to go after somebody. Listen, that's their job. They have to look for certain players that could fit in Sarri's system and make a difference, and give the chance for Insigne to come off and put somebody in, or vice versa.
Somebody to sit on the bench and be a relevant
They
player.
need more depth. That's what they need.
100%.
No,
But if they have the money, they
but
they
also
gotta
a player
evaluate
of
that.
quality. Because
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, you cannot tell Sarri, "Oh, we got you Pavoletti."
Yeah,
2 years
that's
ago.
what I'm saying. That's why everyone's
gotta be
saying play the
somebody
people
with
on the bench.
quality.
How are you gonna win the Scudetto with Pavoletti? Let's be for real now. I feel like a lot of players would have done the same, dropped out of these competitions, and just been realistic. Be like, okay, listen, we're not gonna go to the Champions League because look, it's not gonna happen. Our eyes on the Scudetto. They were so close this year, but whatever, it didn't happen. They burned out the players. Things didn't go, as expected. Things happen. He was very close though. So you can't blame
would
it
you get?
entirely on this.
Let's say
Well, it's not easy to get players now. Some players don't want to go to Naples. There's too much pressure.
And
to
the
play there.
and the rights too. You gotta sign your picture. Your image rights.
Image rights.
And a lot of people don't want to do that, and it's a whole
But
mess.
that's the whole issue.
Yeah.
De Laurentiis, you have to. I understand it's a business, but you have to also be able to bend some of your rules and make sure that you have the better players or some of the best players come play for Napoli. I mean, if you're any type of football fan that you're watching Napoli play, as a player, I would love to be able to play in that system.
It's
because
attractive.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Peter, do you
Of
think that
course.
Laurentiis is going to be capable to retain Koulibaly and Jorginho with all the pressure that is already building up from outside?
This is the whole issue. It depends on how the players feel now, because there was a whole pact supposedly the past year.
The Scudetto pact.
Exactly. Every player said no one leave because this is our time to win the Scudetto. Unfortunately, now that this year is over, these players that they're looking to make more money salary wise or different aspiration play. Jorginho maybe Manchester United. So these are top teams where they also pay well, and it gives you a different experience.
Gaetano, I have a question
No.
for you.
And,
So,
100%,
Gaetano,
I think if Jorginho goes Manchester United,
Right.
De Laurentiis
If
first
Jo-
off can do anything, and second off he'll say, okay, here.
If Jorginho goes, Alan's gonna
No.
go. Koulibaly's gonna go.
My question is
Pepe
this.
Reina's already
Yeah,
out. The team's
my
dismantled.
question to him
What?
is this.
Okay.
How much you think a factor will be when if Sarri still is the coach of Napoli for some of those players to stay? Do you think that this will factor into the choices of some of those players staying in Napoli or leaving Napoli?
If Sarri stays,
Yes.
yeah, I'm sure if Sarri stays and they have and De Laurentiis buys the right players, they might buy into the system. But the way De Laurentiis operates,
It's strange.
yeah,
That might factor into the decision of some of
he
those
comes
players.
out with some strange saying, and I don't know. At times he doesn't want to spend the money. So I think that the project is in trouble right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, De Laurentiis also came out multiple times against Serie A, the whole idea of TV rights, and I guess he as a business plan, Napoli doesn't make as much money as he had hoped, and so he's not willing to spend as much money. Because there's also problems also in the city of Napoli, because he's been trying to push for a new stadium, and the city of Napoli has not given him permission to do any of that type of sort. And the stadium is old. And it's not good for the marketability of Napoli. But as a team wise, the team is winning second place in Italy. I mean, Champions League next year. He has every right and every reason to spend some money and buy some players. If the only thing is, I'm not sure Sarri's gonna stay. I think Sarri right now is looking more on the outside than being there.
Apparently, they're saying he's going to leave.
Because also,
everything.
You could see from the press conference that De Laurentiis had. He's like, if Sarri leaves, we have another one.
That's what De Laurentiis said.
He said
he
something.
already have coaches
he has already coaches lined up.
Gianpaolo, maybe. Who knows?
What I would like to see, I don't think it's going to happen. I want to see Conte on Napoli.
That'd be incredible, but that would never happen.
Because it's a whole different system. But he's a winning coach. He gets the most out of his players. I want to see if some of these players stay, or if he gets certain players to play under to attract them to Napoli.
Peter, but why would he go there if Conte is looking for somewhere to spend? He complained at Juve, they're not spending. They're complaining that Chelsea's not spending. He's definitely not going to Napoli.
But he wants to come back to Italy.
That's true.
So what if he goes who else is he going to go to? He's not going to go back to
Kicks out Gennaro. Antonio, what do you think?
No. I want Gattuso to stay at AC Milan.
Okay, guys.
Very happy with Gattuso.
Listen, we went well over an hour. We got to try to squeeze in one question because let's go, because our battery's dying, and this is one of the longest podcasts. So we got Mohammed. He said the top 3 Serie A goalkeepers this season. I'll give you guys 10 seconds to think about
mistake
this season.
Not Donnarumma.
Take everything into account.
Well, Zoff definitely.
No, this season. No, not history. This season. This season.
This season.
Buffon.
Sorry.
What?
How many drinks you had?
Who do you want to say?
No, Buffon.
Whenever someone messes up, I know it already.
Buffon and Donnarumma for me.
Alisson, Buffon, Donnarumma. I have Alisson first for sure. Wait, who do you have? You have Buffon first?
Buffon, Alisson, and my third one, I'll go with Perin.
Perin. This is a tough one. Peter, you're going around.
I know it's so
Actually, I changed my mind. I would put Alisson, Perin, and Donnarumma. I put Buffon out because Buffon is not there.
Come on. Go, Peter, go.
Buffon saved the Juventus a couple of times. I have to say, Alisson, Buffon, and Andanovic. I watch a lot of Inter games. Andanovic saved the Inter a bunch of times.
I'm putting Alisson, Buffon, Perin. I think we're all kind of similar on that one. But the third
Donnarumma and Perin.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Okay, I think we wrapped everything up, right? A lot going on next.
Listen, it's going to be depressing next week because it's going to be the last week of the Campionato Italiano.
That's right.
And then we're going to be looking forward to watch the World Cup without Italy being there.
God, why'd you have to bring that up?
We have transfer market. It's my favorite time.
This I think is going to, the transfer market too is going to be very
exciting. We'll talk.
But this is going to make us more angry to just go over there and just win. Because we're not about losing in Italy. The word losing is not part of our vocabulary. So let's learn from the failure that we had, because you can always learn from the mistakes you made in the past. And this, the mistake that we made with our last Italian national team coach, especially. I mean, not to take anything away from his, goodwill and all the stuff, but we think we have winning mentalities back in the Italian team.
Yeah, I think we said everything. If you guys made it until over here, I think what are we? Now we're in 15. You guys are the real legends. Antonio, what do you have to do?
Just rate the podcast 5 stars, okay, guys?
Oh man, okay. Ciao, guys. We'll see you next week. It's gonna be a good one.